Epic Universe is raising the bar when it comes to theme park restaurants and food, and this is only the beginning. Hello everybody, welcome. Epic Universe has over 3 times the number of restaurants, snack carts, and drink carts than they do attractions. And we've got all the details right here. Universal has been changing their approach on theme park foods over the last few decades, and it looks like they finally landed on a new approach for Epic Universe. In previous videos, I've talked about how Universal is taking this sort of fast casual, quick service dining experience blended with table service elements as sort of their new strategy on how to best serve guests the best possible experience. This is giving guests sort of a quick experience with slightly elevated food. This gets you in quicker, out quicker, and back into the action without really sacrificing the quality of the experience and leaving you satisfied with your meal. Minions Cafe has seemingly become the blueprint for this successful model. If you've been to Universal Studios and you have experienced the Minions Cafe, I can't say enough good things about it. I've said this on other videos. I feel like this is the blueprint for a successful quick service / table service dining experience at Universal. It has great food, lots of options. It's also themed very well. It's fun, it's cute, it's a nice, comfortable experience. The theming in the restaurant is great. You order your food and then you also sit down. They bring it to you. You've got refill stations. It's almost kind of a blend between this quick service and table service experience, and I just think it's amazing. So today in this video, I want to go through all 30 restaurant and snack and drink locations and over 60 food items and drinks that we are going to be getting at Epic Universe. So with that, let's get right into it. First, we're going to start with Celestial Park. This is where most of the food and drinks are going to be at. So when you first walk into that park and you experience Celestial Park, you are also going to be seeing tons of food and drink options. The first big restaurant is the Atlantic. This is a table service dining location. There are only 2 table service in all of Epic Universe, the Atlantic and the Blue Dragon, which we'll talk about next. The Atlantic is a seafood fine dining sort of experience, and the food here just looks absolutely amazing. They've got things like oysters, they've got sea bass, they've got a Romanesca, and they've got even a snickerdoodle dessert that just looks out of this world. They also, of course, have lots of interesting cocktails to choose from. I just feel like this food looks spectacular. I have a feeling that it is going to be a little pricey to go to this restaurant, but the theming of it is just spectacular. You kind of look like you're in an aquarium. They've got these like hanging fish that are kind of floating around, and the way the windows are sort of created, it's going to make you feel like you're under the water, and I just think it looks great, and the food looks awesome. Next we have the Blue Dragon. This is the other table service sort of sit down, kind of finer dining experience, and I am excited about this one because it is Asian cuisine. And we've talked about this in other videos. There is a serious lack of good Asian cuisine options in really most theme parks. Disney doesn't have a ton, Universal doesn't have a ton, so I'm excited about this. And the food is already just looking fantastic. They of course have some sort of ramen bowl. They've got smashed cucumbers and even some snowflake pot stickers, which really look cool to me. I'm really just digging the plating in these restaurants. They've got this passion fruit cake that looks really good. And of course they have really cool cocktails as well. And looks like even a boba drink, which I think is really fun. So I'm really looking forward to this cuisine. I'm really hoping that it tastes as good as it looks and actually has some really good flavors. Again, I think this is gonna be a little bit higher and pricey than a lot of the other restaurants. These are gonna be your 2 expensive restaurants, I think, but they look really great. The aesthetic of the place looks great. You got that electric Blue Dragon. This is gonna be a winner, I think. Next, we've got the Oak and Star Tavern, which is this like enchanted forest, which sounds fun. And it is all about the meats at this place. I mean, this is your barbecue restaurant. This food looks awesome. This is where they've got a meat platter. I mean, doesn't that just sound awesome? A meat platter. They've got brisket sandwiches. They even have a platter with mango bread, pickles, banana leaf, smoked pulled pork. I mean, it just sounds so good. But for anybody that's not a big fan, they also have a really good looking arugula salad. And of course, they've got drinks. Every place is gonna have drinks. Now, this is one that I'm a little bit worried about because you know what? Disney knows how to do barbecue. I don't think Disney's food is that great just across the board. I mean, they have some good stuff, but they have a lot of stuff that's just okay. But Disney, I've said it before and I'll say it again, they know how to do barbecue. Their barbecue stuff is just rocking. So I really hope that Universal can bring the heat, bring the rain when it comes to barbecue food, because they've got some heavy contenders over there at Disney. Next, we've got the Meteor Astro Pub. Don't know too much about this. It's a bar. It's gonna have some snacks. We are gonna go through a lot of bars. They have so many bars at Epic Universe. I mean, they are definitely gonna be competing with Epcot's sort of drinking around the world experience that people do over there. They've got a ton of options for adult beverages. We've also got the next one, which is the Celestiki. This is gonna be essentially a bar. Think like a Chez Alcatraz over there at Universal Studios. Lots of people love that. They love that experience, just getting some drinks. We think there's gonna be some snacks, but they have a ton of different drink options there. They've got mudslides, frozen pina coladas. They've got a daiquiri, even a Waturi punch. All of them look really cool. So if you're in the mood for a drink, that's gonna be your spot. Next up, we've got Pizza Moon and Frosty Moon right next to each other. And this is our pizza joint. I really, really hope that the pizza is at least as good as Louis over at Universal Studios, if not better. I've tried some pizza stuff at Universal in some of their hotels, and it is not the best. Louis at least is decent and edible. I'm hoping we get more of that side and less of the bad pizza. And Disney does not know how to do pizza at all. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna say it on record, they don't know how to do pizza. But this pizza just looks great. They got a Harvest Moon pizza, they got a giant mushroom pizza, something called a Space Cowboy, a Vesuvio pizza, and they even have some pastas like a rigatoni pasta with some meatballs, which looks so good. Of course, you know they've got to have a salad in there, and they even have a dessert pizza, which just looks awesome. So I am really excited for this. That's the Pizza Moon side of it. Frosty Moon, we don't really have the menu, but I'm guessing it's just gonna be some ice creams. Hopefully some hand-scooped ice creams and not just soft serve. Maybe something more like Florian Fortescue's where you've got both options. That would be awesome. We've also got another bar for you called Bar Zenith. And again, lots of cocktails. This location is right next to Stardust Racers, so everything is going to be like Constellation, like space kind of themed. We've got a Meteor Strike drink. We have, of course, a Cosmopolitan, and we have a Bar Zenith Stargarita, which sounds awesome. So lots of different drinks there. So again, lots of bars. There's also a location over there near Stardust Racers called Comet Dogs. Don't know much, we just know it's gonna be hot dogs. Hopefully lots of cool flavor hot dogs, maybe something like the hot dog experience there at Universal City Walk, which has like Chicago dog and New York style dog and all these different mustards and stuff. Hopefully we get some really good hot dogs in that space. Well, we don't have any pictures just yet, but it sounds really fun. Next up, we have Star Sui Bao, which is a bao bun location. They're gonna be selling lots of those little pillowy, delicious bao buns. Not a whole lot is known yet, but I'm assuming that's what we're gonna get there. And what do you think's next? Yep, you guessed it, another bar. This one's called the Plastered Owl. Don't know anything other than it's gonna be drinks. So if you're interested in getting plastered at the Plastered Owl, that's gonna be a good spot for you. And then of course we have a Starbucks. I'm not even gonna talk about Starbucks other than to say it's already operational. They've already got people working there. Team members, as we speak, can go over there and get a Starbucks right now. So it is already fully operational and it's right there. So for all you Starbucks junkies, you can get your fix right there. Now there are two other unnamed restaurants at this point that we know they're working on. That was one of the concerns that they had when they started building Epic Universe, was they weren't gonna have enough food and food locations, despite the fact that they've got 30. That still was not enough, especially when it comes to like casual dining or like big giant cafeteria dining room areas for people to eat. Not having a city walk like Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure has, that's a big issue because a lot of people can leave the parks and go eat at City Walk, They don't have that option over at Epic Universe, so they gotta have a lot of restaurants in the parks. So they've now adding 2 new restaurants they're still building and may not be available for opening day. They may not open up until a later phase at Epic Universe, but they are building them. Don't have the names for them yet, don't know what they're gonna be serving, but we think there's gonna be an Italian restaurant and a Mexican restaurant. But again, that's just speculation based on what we're hearing. Could be something different, but that's what we know. So wow, that was a lot of stuff just for Celestial Park. Now let's move on over into one of the lands. The first big one there is Toadstool Cafe. That's the similar restaurant to what they already have over at Universal Studios in Hollywood. It is basically Minions Cafe themed to Super Mario World. That's what it's all about. Themed foods, it looks great. They've got a Mario burger. They of course have a Luigi burger. You can't have Mario without Luigi. You gotta have them both. They have a Piranha Plant Caprice. And they have something called Bowser's Fireball Challenge. So I am just really digging this place. I love the vibe of it. It looks super cute. Toad's one of my favorite characters in the Mario universe. I just dig him. I think he's fun. If you're a fan of Super Mario and Nintendo World, like that's gonna be like the best place for you to eat. I mean, the food just looks so fun. It looks like food straight out of like a Mario game, what you would expect. I mean, it looks awesome. It's Minions Cafe themed Super Mario, and I couldn't be more excited for it. Next up, we have Yoshi's Snack Island, and then we also have the Turbo Boost Treats. Not a ton of information on these yet. So far, we believe this is where you're gonna be able to get some calzones and some smoothies. So calzones and smoothies from these 2 carts. And that's really the food locations, but there is also, of course, another drink location. This time we've got the Bubbly Barrel. This is over in the Donkey Kong area, obviously. We're gonna get some cool tropical drinks. They've even got one called DK Crush Float. And again, lots of options for drinks. I'm assuming there's gonna be some non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages at this location. We don't have the full menu yet, but it looks really fun. Maybe we'll even get something in a coconut. That could be pretty cool, but I think we're gonna get a lot of banana. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna move on over to another land. Super Nintendo World's probably the lightest when it comes to food. There's not gonna be a ton. It's also not a huge space, so it kind of makes sense, but not a ton of food there. Let's now move over to Wizarding World of Harry Potter, the Ministry of Magic. We've got some really great restaurants popping up there. First up, we've got Café L'Air de la Sirène. This is essentially a French sandwich and bakery shop. I personally, French cuisine, not my favorite type of food. It does look good. I'm excited for some of the food, but we'll see if it ends up tasting good. But the menu looks really cool. They've got things like a baguette sandwich, which looks good. They even have a beef bourguignon, which I am a fan of. And one of the big ones that everybody's talking about is a butterbeer crepe. I don't really dig crepes. I'm not a fan, but crepes are big. They have that crepe shop over at Universal Studios. There's always a huge line for that crepe shop. I have no idea why. I guess everybody likes crepes but me. They have a crepe place over by Ratatouille's ride over there in Epcot in France. Always tons of people over there getting crepes. For some reason, it's not my bag. But they do have a butterbeer crepe, and I might become a fan of crepes after trying butterbeer crepe. I don't know. It looks really cool, really fun. I'm a big fan of butterbeer, so I'll try anything once. They also have a quiche Lorraine, and they have a niçoise salad. So lots of different options. Again, French. If you're not a big fan of French cuisine, not going to be your place. If you are, could be a good one. Next on the list is the Les Gabelettes Noires. This is described as basically a location where the international dark witches and warlocks and wizards are essentially eating. It's supposed to be very mysterious ambiance. They've got some soups and salads and entrees there. I'm thinking it's like Nocturne Alley, like a restaurant you would find in Nocturne Alley, something like that. The food here, not really sure about. They do have like a lentil stew, which looks interesting. And they also have something called the Alchemist Goblet Platter. That platter looks really interesting. It's got some like sausages on there. It's got like pretzel bread, some sort of like cheese and mustard dips. Looks like pickled eggs. I don't know, it looks kind of fun. Looks pretty good if you're into like meat boards like that with some breads. It looks good. Next up, we have another bar. Now, at least this bar is an indoor bar. A lot of the other bar locations are sort of these like outdoor booths where you maybe huddle around on stools. This one is physically indoor, so you're gonna go on inside. It's gonna be an experience in there. It's called Bar Moonshine, and it is very much an American-themed bar with American US Quidditch pennants all around, so it sounds really fun. Don't have the full menu, but we're gonna get some moonshines, some beers, and some cocktails, some fun stuff. Again, another bar. Then we have a location called Caramel, basically. That's essentially gonna be some sort of French confectionery. We're thinking something like a Honeydukes over there. So if you're looking at getting your delicious French confectionaries, this is gonna be the spot. And lastly, of course, there is the beer cart, the butterbeer cart, French for butterbeer. And just like any of the other locations, gonna have a butterbeer option for you there, frozen and non-frozen butterbeers. Now let's move over to Dark Universe. This is where some of my favorite restaurants are showing up. First, we have Das Steakhouse. It is essentially the restaurant that has the vampire familiars running it. Underneath the floorboards of this restaurant are going to be all these vampires that are sleeping in their coffins, and the familiars are taking care of them and protecting them, and you're going to be eating in this restaurant. Some of the food here looks so awesome, but also so gross. And not gross flavor-wise, but it just looks gross, like bloody and pulpy, and it just looks like so much fun. They've got an orange chicken sandwich which has a black bun on it. They've got an ancient char soy pork platter which looks really cool. They even have bird on a steak. They have a carved steak on a steak. And I'm really excited to see this thing looks like an actual steak. It doesn't just look like little kebabs. I was hoping we would get some steak and not chintzy kebabs because I'm not really a big fan of kebabs. They also have Darkmoor black wings. They have a vegan cabbage dish, which looks really gross. Then they have the Das Steakhouse, La Batacata, and it looks like you just had a lobotomy. It looks so gross, but so much fun. So this is one of my most excited restaurants to try. I don't know if it will taste good, but it looks cool. Next up, we have the Burning Blade Tavern. I think everybody knows all about this one. It looks like a ton of fun. You've got that huge windmill outside bursting into flames. Inside, this is going to be where the monster hunters are roaming. This is going to be their hangout spot, and you're going to get to hang out with cool monster hunters that are trying to take care of business when it comes to Frankenstein's monster and Dracula. And we don't have any pictures of the food just yet for this one, but it looks really good. We're gonna have things like bratwursts and pretzels, burgers, wings. It should be a lot of like general fare type food, which I think will be fun. A couple of the menu items are the Burning Blade Burger, garlic pretzel, and fried poppers. The last location for food in Dark Universe is DeLacy's Cottage. This is an homage to the family that essentially treated Frankenstein's monster very friendly, very nice, took care of him for a point in the movie. And this location is going to have some interesting snacks and drinks. We already know we're gonna get things like a cinnamon bread, and we're getting twisted taters and ice cream. Now, the cinnamon bread is apparently not going to be the cinnamon bread we're used to in some of the other areas like Dollywood. It's going to be this like special version of cinnamon bread that's going to be all their own. So I'm excited to see what that's about. Now we finally made it to our last area. This is How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. The big main restaurant here is, of course, the Mead Hall, that giant spire with that amazing like wooden interior, almost like a Viking hall. It looks so awesome. You can just almost feel like dragons would be flying around in the ceiling of this place. And the food here looks really fun. It's meats and fishes as you would expect in a Viking village. We've got things like the grilled salmon. We've got a harvest salad, a sullen sea sandwich, and even something called a Thaw Fest platter, which has all these weird looking meats on it, maybe some chunks of fish and some fries, so a little sampling of some of the different foods they've got there. Then they have this really cute little like fish dessert, which is called Stormfly's Catch of the Day. I don't think it's gonna taste anything like fish, but it looks like a lot of fun. Then we've got the Spitfire Grill, which is overlooking the fire drill attraction where you're on the boats and you're trying to spray each other. We're gonna be getting some flame-seared, hearty food options here. These are basically bowls. They are bowls of meats and veggies. We've got Stoic's steak bowl, a salmon bowl, a chicken bowl, a shrimp bowl, and of course a vegan bowl. I will say Animal Kingdom had a location that had these bowls with like chicken and steak and shrimp on them, and I absolutely loved them. We would eat there all the time, and then they stopped having it for some reason, and I haven't eaten over in that area of Animal Kingdom since. So I'm hoping we get some good bowls here, because if they're anything like those, I'm gonna be eating there a lot. Next, we've got Hooligan's Grog and Gruel, which is basically a snack stand in this land. We don't know too much about it, but we've heard that there is going to be something called a mac and cheese cone as one of the treats that you can get there, which sounds pretty cool. I don't know. If you're a fan of mac and cheese, this could be fun. I have yet to have a really good mac and cheese in a theme park, so maybe this will be the one. And then the last one is How to Treat Your Dragon. I just love the name of it, How to Treat Your Dragon. I think that's so much fun. Don't know what's going to be there. Treats, snacks, something, drinks, not sure. Hopefully the snacks end up being as cool as the name. So just to recap, that's everything. 30 plus restaurants and snacks and drink locations. Only 2 sit-down dining room locations. The rest are going to be sort of the quick service, as I've mentioned, but 30 plus places. But I definitely think it's needed. I mean, there's just gonna be so many people. You're gonna be starving, you're gonna be thirsty, you're gonna want a place. One of my biggest issues with Halloween Horror Nights is always how long the lines are for the food and drinks. Like the lines for the food are longer than the lines for the haunted houses sometimes. So you cannot have enough restaurants in these parks. You don't want to be wasting your time just standing in line waiting for food. You want to eat, you want to get back to the action. So I think it's a good move that they're adding so many places here. So overall, that's it. That's all the restaurants, food, and snacks that's coming. We don't have all the details on every single menu item yet, but that is pretty much it. Let us know what you think. Are you excited to try some of these food options? Are you worried that the food is going to be like the Epcot Festival of the Arts, where it looks really cool but tastes really bad? That's definitely Festival of the Arts over at Epcot. Food and Wine Festival is kind of the reverse. Food just looks normal and mediocre, but tastes really good. I'm hoping that this is the magic of Universal's elevated food experience. I'm hoping that it ends up being food that not only looks great, but also tastes great. So we will see when we finally get to try it there on opening day or earlier. Hopefully if you're there for the previews. What are you most looking forward to? Which restaurants look the best? What are you going to be hightailing it over to try? Let me know down in the comments. Once again, thanks so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. I know you got friends. I know you got family. It's probably planning on going to Epic Universe. They're going to want to know, where should we go to eat? What's the options? Send them this video. It's got it all right here. So see you next time. The noble way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.